So I was gonna be the one as a woman to be like to Bongani if I saw him in the future. And this guy was so stumbled by me. He was so in love with me that I would have probably succeeded to make him hurt whatever woman he was with at the time of me deciding once I'm in a marriage with a dude that don't make no sense. He was going to come back to me because it was always me. It was always me. Do you understand what I'm saying? It was always me. So I would have essentially hurt another woman simply because I decided to give a man a chance that I rejected back then, and now I'm out here playing home wrecker because it was always me. I was gonna wreck his home if I bumped into him again in the future, but only from a vantage point where it is that I would be married to this no-brainer, and then I would be out just singing him. Ran into you yesterday, memories rushed through my brain. I mean, when you're in a miserable marriage and you see an ex that you passed up in order to be with this no-brainer, suffocated, boot print, yeah, your husband, a much better dude from the past is gonna seem like an angel. One kutwa halo. Her heavenly music will be playing when you bump into him. Go bicycle, go molo, go discam, go woolworths. You be like here, dum 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 dum. Hey, hi Bongani, how you doing? Dum 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 dum. I know I'm good, yo, dude. It's been a minute. What is it, like 12 years? Dum 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 dum. And then you be like, yo, let's exchange numbers and keep in touch. This guy was perfectly fine in his own marriage, and he would not have been stumbled if he did not bump into an old flame. And the moment you start breaking out into a ballad, making yourself like John Legend, and so he will then be made to enter into an adulterous affair with a woman he's always wanted. But he would not have done that if you didn't tempt him. If you did not tempt Ubongani, you put yourselves in a position to be the little seductress by simply accommodating Inja. But you see, Jesus is the one that's going to give you reprieve. Otherwise, you're going to bump into Bongani, Shmongani. You'll be like, I ran into you yesterday. Memories rushed through my brain. It's starting to hit me. Now you're not with me. I realize I made a mistake. I thought that I needed tepang, but I just let love go to waste. It's so crystal clear now. I need you here now. I gotta get you back today. This time I want it all. This time I want it all. I will be all you need. This time it's all of me. Boing, 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 boing. I hit the bar every night, looking to score a good time. I left empty-handed, it's not like I planned it, 'cause I'm still alone in my mind. Now what can I do to feel right? And can I come see you tonight? Is there someone new now? What can I do now? I gotta get you back today. This time I want it all, yeah. This time I want it all. I messed up, I let you know. I need you, don't say no. Ba-da-ba-da-bum. Last time I wasn't sure. Lying alone in this room, all that is missing is you. Pick up the phone, won't you come home? But like, this guy got a home, he's got a wife, he's got kids, and you're stumbling him. You're stumbling him. Out here, as the chick that he's always loved. But like, you passed him up, and now you are just interrupting the peace in his marriage. That's what y'all are facing. That's why you're busy falling into adulterous affairs. You passed up good guys in favor of these wicked ones, and now balimela, and now they are unloving, and now they are acting a fool because they've always been slovenly, and the reason is because you did not choose Christ. Mina, look, I gave my life to Christ at the opportune time. I would have inevitably ended up married to Tepang, Tanamount. I would have. Now, to explain to you what happened, Ngo, Tepang, I'm trying to block young women from ending up or I heard from a friend today, she said you were in town. Basically just kind of reminiscing over something that can't happen no more now that you are like all nice and 40 and married to Easy. Like, I'm trying to stay young women from doing that, but I'm also trying to get women my age that are single yet to be married to not settle for this. Le korobela, intense, is strong, we get it, it's poignant. Le pegamina pela, bring back lost love or whatever. It'll sacha you. But by the Holy Spirit, we put to death the deeds of the body. The Holy Spirit is the one who enables us to realize, Uti, this pain is inordinate and it's abnormal. I can't be missing a bugger that was so mean to me. I cannot be missing a bugger that was so treacherous, that was unloving and lacking any sentience, a log, merely existing. I cannot. Whether or not ngina 40, bottom line is angnandaba. Angizo cause strife. I'm not going to cause strife in a marriage. I'm not going to cause strife in a marriage between a dude that I passed up and his wife, because the one that I settled for, kinyok, ke rubbish, ke lenyora, udula ole parched, go dry, ke desert, ke Kalahari kamo. Okasibe right. Why does it become Kalaharic? Why does it become like a desert wasteland? Because agunatand. An unloved woman that gets married be out just singing to ex-boyfriends, ran into you yesterday. Memories rushed through my brain. It's starting to hit me. Now you're not with me. I realize I made a mistake. I thought that I needed this buffoon, but I just let love go to waste. It's so crystal clear now. I need you here now. I gotta get you back today. Even though you're a married man, and even though I'm a married woman, bottom line is I finally see that this time it's all or nothing. Quing, 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 quing. Quing, 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 quing. Kind of getting it as like a trickle of a tear down the throat, down the eye, and like your bottom lips are quivering. You out here shaking your bottom lip. Udikeled. Yeah, Mara, you had your chance, right? But I'm trying to cure women from this insanity. We get, y'all have left me out on a limb to be at the mercy of these dudes. But everything got ramifications and consequences, yo. I might be forward till we get it. My age is like gong, 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 gong. When people hear it, they hear those gongy sounds. And so for those reasons, apparently, I gotta go and grab some body until I am fetishizing and fantasizing about someone that would have been a lot better towards me. A lot better. All they do is make you miss other people. All that Korobela does is cause you, who is the victim, to miss that which you know for a fact you passed up irrationally. Korobela, I last day is not real love. And futia fada. It expires. It has a sell-by date. Like bad milk, it gets all curdy. And when it gets curdy, you be hearing from a friend today, and she said your ex that you dated for 2 weeks because you gave him grief is in town. Suddenly the memories come back to you in your mind. You gonna be out, you're having an adulterous affair, telling yourself that it doesn't get any better than this. Telling yourself that it's, really like running with nothing but your flesh, eh? Making love to you, oh, it feels so good and ooh, so right. But like it's wrong in the sight of Christ, you can't turn to him now, can you? Next thing you're having an affair for like 4 years, 5 years, a woman now be the one be having a side piece. That's what's good, like 5-year affair. Double life. The pregnancy that you had in that time, how sure? If it's your husband's or somebody else's husband's. Guys, there are consequences to sin, y'all. There are consequences to sin. Y'all, you are in danger. For the rest of your days. It's not a problem-free philosophy. Y'all got problems. Y'all got some serious problems. Like, even as I've been speaking this entire time, I keep on hearing funeral service. People want me dead because these things are hard-hitting truths. They want to kill me because the prospect of me getting what I want in life, it's just so taxing because of all these mistakes. First and foremost, it's the people that were victims to Korobela. That were the first mistake. You didn't give your lives to Christ on time, so you fell prey to it. But the men, maybe even the women, but in this instance, I'm speaking to the men in particular. Women don't tend to cheat easily. And yet in 2024, it's happening at astronomical levels. Because of Korobela, anybody say yona, bring back lost lover, hold me down, touch no one else, I don't want nobody else. You have made your women like Janet Jackson. Hearing from their friends some other day, saying that Jabu and Tebo and Mandla and John and Peter are in town. And then suddenly the memories, and imagine when you are in a horrible relationship whatever morals or scruples or value set that you might have had as a single woman before you got married, ayahamba. Marriage causes people to be so immoral, guys. When you are in a bad knot in a marriage, you become so immoral. The things that you were able to exercise restraint concerning when you were single, now that you are married, because you feel tied down. Hashem, I heard from a friend today, and she said it's just about pleasing your flesh. You feel as if though, I only get one life, I'm not going to throw it away. And so you are just doing what you've always wanted to do with Bongani. But Bongani would have been your husband if only you had given your life to Christ. If I was saved, there'd be no competition. I'm in love. And now you're going to go and make Bongani have an affair. Joe. And Bongani what day? And you weakling. He's going to have that affair with you. Because like I said, it's always been you. It's always been you. It's always been you. You're going to stumble. That poor soul. Anyway, Buitumelo. I was telling the story of Buitumelo. My ex-boyfriend had this friend with this girlfriend, this friend that had this girlfriend. And Buitumelo initially dumped him because he just would not get his act together. But during the time when they were broken up, not only did she feel a ridiculousness of pain because of them being broken up, because of this witchcraft in operation, but she also started dating another guy. Couple of weeks down the line from the date that they broke up, she started dating somebody else. And this somebody else treated her so badly that she went back to this guy. She was called back, but then listen to what happened. In the time that they were broken up, and it has not been longer than 3 months. In the time that they were so this guy and this girl have been together since university. He doesn't want to work hard. He eventually uses witchcraft because he's sick and tired of striving with her. Okay? Buitumelo then is like, you know what, we've tried and I'm sick of you. And then broke up with him. Went on to date another dude. Dissatisfied in that space. In and of herself feeling like she's getting sakhat by some pain that don't make no sense. That she's never felt before. Because I'm petting Yemiti this time around. Then she decides to go back together with this guy. But guess what happens? Guess what she discovers? Magabuyelane? No. When she is now knocking on his door, I get the spell was to bring her back. Come back, come back. This witchcraft, it's come back witchcraft. It's come back. It's I'm not gonna follow you. I go matisa around an athletics patch. Mara, when you're gonna come back to me. It's a you're gonna come back to me type spell. So essentially, this person just sits back and waits. Mara, this guy did not just sit back and wait. Mamelang, listen to what this guy did. He did not just sit back and blom for this woman to come back. He deliberately went and had a baby with another woman. In that time, he made a baby. You've been with a guy since varsity, and he couldn't even think, since he wants you back, he couldn't even think to at least use protection. He deliberately impregnated another woman. I mean, guys, when men do stuff like that, when men go out of their way to hurt Abafazi that much, when they have no regard to love, Umfazi, that they love, when they have no interest in loving a woman they love, what is going on? Y'all would know what it feels like if at all a man that you love has impregnated another woman. I have had one ex of mine make another woman pregnant while we were together. Kodwa, I didn't love him. He was a closet homosexual. It's like he was trying to prove a point. Palesa and Somizi all up in our grill over there. This dude was all over the show trying to prove that he's not gay, but he was obviously gay. He was so effeminate that there was no way that he wasn't. So the best way that he imagined that he would prove that he's straight was to just sleep with as many women as possible, and he made one pregnant. I was so upset on some wabora because you're not even straight, and then you cheat on me. Top of that, your stuff I said you're not attracted to women. How did you impregnate that other one? Anyway, whatever. I dumped him. I wasn't too hurt, but that's because I didn't love him. I wasn't too hurt. But my ex, there was in the beginning of the relationship, there was a threat of that. When I started dating him, I was like, I don't want to be with a guy onanglebana and whatnot. I wanted a clean slate. So if you have a kid, let me know, come up with it now, because we can't be together. That's what I basically said to him. And I said that on our first date. And for the first 3 to 4 months of our relationship, watula, and did not confess anything. He did not say a single thing. Until one day, Eskaleni, out of the blue, he then decides to be like, hey, look, I think I'm not sure. I think I think the ex that I was with before you could be pregnant. Yes, he's be out to telling me that he's not sure she could be pregnant because in the rumor mill out there that she's pregnant, and he thinks that maybe the baby is his. My heart. I was in love with this guy. I was newly in love. I was done. I was in this. My nose was in deep. I felt like my heart was in my chest. Yasinka down to my toes. Angazi, y'all, the pain. I was like, why didn't you tell me? He's like, I wasn't sure. I would have told you immediately, but I'm not really sure. I'm not sure. It turned out to be a false alarm. But all I know is that I was mournful in the run up to it being confirmed as a false alarm, because I was in love with the man and he was mine first. Well, not so much. Okay, she was around first, but you get my point. Bottom line is, I imagined that this was the person with whom I was going to have my first baby. He was going to have his first baby. The two of us were going to be firsts for each other. Everything was going to be firsts. And when a person that you imagine you're first with goes and has a baby with somebody else, that pain is just out of this world. That pain is out of this world. When the person that you meet as an next clean slate goes and makes a baby, it hurts like, yo, I've experienced it. Okay, I have. Little fragments of it. I have. Even though it was a false alarm, I felt like death warmed up upon finding out. What then? So can you imagine then what Boitumelo must have felt? Here it is that you've been with a guy since varsity, and then his first baby is with some chick that he impregnated during a 3-month hiatus, a little break in between. He knew that it was a break, even though you thought it could be permanent. He knew it was a break because he wanted you back. Bring back lost love. And then he goes and impregnates another woman. Dude, we've been together since varsity. That happened. Yeah, Boitumelo went back to Tshepang, and Tshepang was out on some, here's a man that stabs you with witchcraft to come back. And then when you come back, he has the brazen audacity to say, what do you want? Funan, you left me, mos. Hi, anyway, there's a little bit of a glitch. Ooh, Kinelwe, umiti. Who's Kinelwe? She's my new girl. You dumped me. Yeah, he slapped her with that. Yes, like it, bruh. Here is this woman going back to Tshepang. Tshepang then treats her like Funani. Anyway, look, there's a glitch. Some other chick is pregnant because you dumped me. When he deliberately did that, guess what Boitumelo did? Yeah, guys. Boitumelo groveled. I get una sahwa, get chainsaw. Pain from not being with this guy. And then some other guy treated her like trash. She groveled. She begged at his feet. She was like, ay. Tshepang. Muntu wami ngiyakuthanda. No, please. You're my man. You're not hers. We've been together since varsity. What? Please, I'm prepared to be a stepmom. We'll do this, all three of us. But I can't lose you. I'll be there for that child. And that woman, I will respect her, but please, you can't be with her, me. She was like, you can't be with her. Be with me. Leave her. We'll take care of that child, all of us, but you can't be with her. Be with me. She groveled and begged at Tshepang's feet to take her back, and begged Tshepang to dump that other woman. However, for her to go to term with the pregnancy, and they will all take care of the baby. I mean, how many women's lives are being played with here by a man? We have got now a woman that is being pleaded by a woman that's been around all along, an OG. She's begging this man that has always loved her and does not want to break up. She is telling this man, go and break the heart of a pregnant lady. Go tell a pregnant lady that you're a hit it and quit it, but I'll take care of the baby. You're a hit it and a quit it, but I will take care of the baby. I mean, you are newly pregnant. Like, think about this from the vantage point of the pregnant lady. You meet a guy, you fall in love, and since people in the world just fornicate quickly, you meet a guy 2 weeks and you're already in bed. You go and you make a baby. My ex and I could have had a child within the first month of being together. That's what I'm getting at. People in the world have sex real quick, okay? And however, if I were to fall pregnant in the beginning of the relationship with my ex, it would have been like Imedi falling pregnant. It's a new Medi, fine, but she's you know, you love her, so you just stick together anyway. You stay together anyway, type thing. So sometimes when you out here sleeping with a guy and you're in the world, you be thinking, this is it. You're actually in love. You're exchanging pleasantries. You are saying, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. All that jazz. You're talking about the future. You've introduced each other to each other's cousins and moms and brothers and sisters and uncles. Your pets know each other's names. That's what's good. We made it. It's just that time is going to prove that Velevelo we made. But you've only been together for 2 months. And then you fall pregnant. You could stay together for the rest of your lives. You could. But then when somebody rocks up, when you are newly in love with somebody, and you are now a month and a half pregnant, and then this guy that you've been saying, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, that you are now pregnant by, then says, Askis, I can't be with you. My ex-girlfriend came back. Are you not going to feel used and abused? I mean, he was out on some nyanyavu. It felt like it's something that it felt like something that could linger, that would linger. It felt like something that would linger. Cause yeah, a 5-year relationship starts with 1 month. So it could have been something serious. But this guy went in there knowing. He wanted to spite Boitumelo. He knew. So he goes and he impregnates some other woman's daughter, some other man's daughter, knowing that he is still waiting for Boitumelo to come back. Because Boitumelo has always been her. She's the one that he wants, but he wants to handle her. Fine, I'm gonna move on. And then he quickly impregnates some other chick. And now a discussion is being had about breaking the heart of this other chick. Here is a pregnant lady now being told, prepared to basically take in a stride that Indota hit that, and he's gonna be there to pay child maintenance for the rest of her life. But he's not gonna be her husband. He's not gonna be there. That's the problem with fornication first and foremost. She wasn't supposed to fornicate at all. But sometimes Labafazi in the world are thoroughly thinking that they found love, only for a dude to be like, ish, Karabo's back. Ish, Pinky's back. Zama's back. Zamaki ex-girlfriend thing that he never ever intended on leaving, but he easily went and made a baby with another woman. That's what this Tepang dude did. That's what he did. First of all, he treated her with attitude when she came back. And then this chick groveled so much at his feet and begged him to dump a pregnant lady that was in love with a man for her, and expected that pregnant lady to not be mournful, not cry. There's just so much pain going on here because of one little idiot. 2 women are now bereft. Why didn't Boitumelo just be like, yo, you've made a baby, shucks, this bites. I guess I'm gonna have to heal and make like Johnny Walker and start walking. I would have door slammed Utepang. I would have door slammed him. I would have been like, okay, I wanted to get back together with him. Chainsaw massacre, fine. I don't know how to deal with this, but I can't be with that. Because how you gonna go disrespect a 7-10 year relationship? How you gonna go just disrespect it like that? Since university, since first year, Obuti really busy hopping up and down these streets since we were just basically out of our diapers. And then you go and you just quickly make a baby in a 3-month period of us being broken up when it's not the first time that we've broken up before. Yeah, this dude was like, okay, fine, I'll dump that other lady. Just like that, like you created a new, like a whole human being, like a soul. God breathed into Adam and he became a living soul. Here is a living soul living inside the belly of a woman. And you did all that just to spite a woman, a whole human being created to spite another human being. I mean, what are you doing? Just like. Anyway, this Tepang dude decides to humor Boitumelo because Boitumelo's, it was always her. It was always Boitumelo. He never intended to leave Boitumelo. If at all Boitumelo stuck to her guns and strove past the pain, he would have gone back to the drawing board again. Over and over and over again. That is this Ruth witchcraft. I call it Ruth witchcraft because the guy in America tried to make me seem like I'm at his threshing floor. Like I am basically going back to him. Like the kind of witchcraft that causes the man wants the woman, but it will look as if though the woman is the one who's shedding munna. It'll look as if though the woman is the one that proposed marriage to a man. It'll look as if though the woman is the one that insisted upon being with the man. And when then the man has that kind of upper hand, respect, utando, for what? Why do I gotta pull any of my weight? Why do I gotta pull any of my weight? At my threshing floor. I mean, when a man just does not want to love you because you're the one that hit on him, you did not hit on him, girl. He made you hit on him. He made you crawl at his feet because the moment you said no or you walked out, you could not help but feel the chainsaw out here sawing away at chopping it off with no anesthetic. You felt such an extreme pain that you felt like the only cure to this thing is him. When or you are the one that graveled at his feet, ring stands when or you take an engagement ring and said, Jabu, will you marry me? In the spirit realm, there's a ring and everything on your finger from Satan. The kingdom of darkness, so you've already won a gown. Like Winona Ryder wearing a red gown marrying Beetlejuice. No, sorry, Gimang Gina Davis. You have already been walked down the aisle to this man in the spirit realm. You've already been contracted on your own behalf without your consent to chata in my phone. You are done. You are already a married couple in the cosmos. That's what's good. Seni chatil, kodwa. In waking life, it looks as if though you are groveling. It looks as if though umusheli wena. Sort of like one ignora, sort of like niya bora, sort of like she's top shayela. Unyenza like angwazu kshela. Kodwa it's not Mr. Salwin in these streets, it's you, cheeky. ke nontlantla ke refilwe ke neilwe ke Karabo o busy o ntsa shela monna mara this guy o skhala monyetse Beetlejuice. In the spirit realm, you are, like I said, you've already said I do. We can say la sauce le Amanda Black. In the spirit realm, oh sisters. In the spirit realm, you are out jantala ngilindile ngivuma wena wedwa ndoda ya mina iza. This is what's good. I do ngiyavuma I do ngiyavuma I do ngiyavuma hello in the spirit realm, but in the waking realm you be out on some babies ayazi ngiyakuthanda grown shopping feel ngathi oh the one. Why kubhlungu kanje now when you are not together? Cause you the dude now kabase. Angchate boy. Abona ukuthi you and I are supposed to be together. This relationship is not supposed to end. Mina nawe sofa silahlane. Wedali wam. Ngeke ngikushiye. Sofa silahlane. And this dude be acting like ish. Magalwana wa uleso. You always be dumping me. I can never do enough. Everything I try and fella, you always saying no, Karabo yinga. Ngitala exam. So you keep on complaining. Why nobody wants to keep hearing any of that. Nobody wants to keep on that damp one. Nobody wants to keep on being told I can't be with you anymore because of ABC. You keep breaking my heart. You need to promise me that you're not going to do this anymore. But hey, this dude is acting as if though you are groveling at his feet. You are saying so fast lahlane, but in the spirit realm, he was the one that was like, no maganshan. So fast lahlane. He's already sung that song. He's already proposed marriage to you in the occult. He's already put a ring on it. He knows you're the one that's going to walk down the aisle to him. He's the one that wants to put all those babies in your stomach. Uyazi ukuthi you're the one. Usakhethile lo muntu. Kodwa in waking realm, kwena nenge ngikushiye so fasilahlane wena indoda yami kaze ngizoenzani ungekho angikwazi nokuphila ngizothatha ama baby mama wakho I20 ngoba ngithanda wena o tla gogwa kanko ke ditlhare wa nkutlwa kankano no kankane engwe ya haisale. And you will thoroughly imagine. Do you understand what I'm saying? You will thoroughly imagine that you are the reason why everything fell apart. Kwena o leng unreasonable. Kwena o sa kgone go appreciate monna o go ratileng rati o go fileng lerato la haisale o leng le thambo la Kentucky la high. You will literally, all his character flaws, all the problems that he gives you, this body, you will minimize them, you will trivialize them, you will make big gargantuan deal-breaking issues that this guy's walking in trivial. You will ignore yawning red flags because he prospered to make you feel emotions that are not yours, make you feel a pain that is not of you, that is otherworldly as well. It is not healthy. It's the stuff of triage, hospital. It's the stuff of surgery. It's so extreme, this pain. You have never felt it before. I also don't feel anything like this. And this Ogima Bob will thoroughly make you imagine that you brought this onto yourself. We can say because onotse ba velo re khalele nna sibusiso mos so fa sahlane so how le thambo lao la Kentucky khalele nna mos kanti usibuso wakhona ubolile kwamele lo muntu adantshwe kwamele umshiye le ndlela ayina mayitseo le ndlela ayikwazi ukunokuthanda dala greshap akravaza khalanza chita khalanza this person has always just been a whack. If at all your mom was not in a trance from his spells, mekazokutshela 99 tanam ungazophulana le ndlela yangithembi. But no, wonke umuntu kini uyamthanda ngoba ubathakathile. Ashe mina my ex did that, I'm not even gonna lie. Ke ulwele batho bakho Hesu. Atle. Na thank God. When my father and my mother abandoned me, I got God Almighty in the sky. Mina you know God. I've got God. Thank the Lord that even if my relatives act a fool under the spells of a man, at least mina ngiyenzwa sober. Ke Holy Spirit. Ke tswa sober ke modimo. Because ha gona motho mongwe tlo go thusang ho lo survive a situation e jwalo monna tlo go tshwara poho, making sure hore you pass up on perfectly reasonable men that are happy to love you, be faithful, men that will not toy around, dance around banse ba jola lwena for 10 years ka fela ba so proposing yalo. You be out here passing up men like those in favor of somebody that's going to twist you in the wind, and then just to spite you go and break the heart of another lady by making her pregnant and then causing you to be in your content. Despite having been number one, despite having been there first with Nagagela as a stepmom, the child of some other lady, because your man just could not help but use the whole process of creating a progeny, procreation, zygote, hey, sperm and egg come together, you create a zygote and an embryo. Next thing, 9 months later, where there's a baby, you go and do all that just to get to Buitumel. It's unloving. It is taxing, like in the worst way, and it is satanic. But it works. It's working. The only reason why men would be out there taking advice from each other to keep doing this to women is because yasebenza. It's tried and tested. This thing. It's tried and tested. So if it ain't broke, why fix it? Therefore, females. This tried and tested heinous activity. Only way that you're gonna conquer is if you choose to be the exception to the norm. If you choose to be the cut above the rest. If you make a decision to give your lives to Christ so that you will not settle for nyoko ya monna e go rabasitseng ka ditlhare e sa go rateng e bontshitseng ka diketso tsa gagwe gore ha go rat mara ntse o le busy o mongenga o ntse o suna di-toast tsa gagwe ha o sure why o sa kgone go tswa da mara o kgone go tswa. Y'all can't keep letting that happen. Y'all can't, like, literally, you cannot keep letting that happen. You get, like, you cannot love a man to a point of feeling ngathi ushonelwe ngoba ni breakile up. I can't normally that thing, especially when you have not been tied together ngomchato. Hey, a cord of 3 strands is not easily broken. If at all the covenant of marriage has not been embarked on, that kind of pain in a breakup to a point where you feel like osakwa with that thing, anesthetic, it's not natural. There is a pain in breakup that you can tell naturally. I had been through breakups before that hurt, but never like that. Never like what my ex made me feel. Only getting for 5 years. Yo, Hashem. Nikki, I was determined. Like when I would break up with him, make sure and yet the level of disquiet, void, canyon, emptiness that I felt, always made me go back. And every time after being newly restored to the relationship, I was discontented again. I would be sitting there just a day after getting back together, thinking at the back of my mind, I don't want to be here. And I would be thinking, but I don't want to be here. I'd be looking at him walking up and down my apartment, and I'd be like, why did I get back together with him? I don't want to be here. But I was there because something. I was chainsawed like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That was my life. But I gave my life to Christ at 26 and a half, at the opportune time before I could end up married to this guy. And the thing that he had held me hostage using snapped off me on the day that I got born again. And I've never looked back ever since. He has invested in the same spells that he used to keep me in the relationship since. And none of them worked. Shayang bring back lost love. Shayang pegaminak pelang korobel. Shayang make sure every man around agamtandi agazochatwa whatnot. He's done it all, but he has never prospered to make me go back to him. Azanga khona Hashem. I had dreams sitting at the Hlongwane after we broke up of me being pregnant. Pregnant with this baby that was growing at record speed in my stomach, and I was so unhappy in my dream of the fact that I don't want that baby daddy. Why am I pregnant with this man's baby? I would wake up in a cold sweat on some God. What is this? God is like, that's what bring back lost lover looks like. He wants to hold you hostage. Pregnancy. He's taught himself witchcraft and he wants to bring you back, but you're mine now. The enemy thought he had me, but Jesus said you are mine. The enemy thought he had me, but Jesus said you are mine. That's the thing that you see that's the power of true redemption. You've got one foot in Christ and another foot in the world. You want your bread buttered on both sides. Protection. You are out here calling yourselves Christian and you're going to church on Sundays, getting baby underneath your armpits. But you're fornicating, you're gossiping, you are insincere, you're half-hearted, you're lukewarm. And your lukewarmness is in order that you might enjoy the fleeting pleasures of sin of the earth. You have to enjoy the planet, but you don't see what you are compromising in so being, what you are losing out on, because you are not truly redeemed, because you are not truly surrendered to Jesus. They pull you with a noose, the Beetlejuice, they marry you contractually in the cosmos. You're blommer at the threshing floor as Ruth, going back to a guy that you knew you had to dump. You had to go, but you keep on boomeranging back. But you in church every Sunday. Then among the conversations that you have when you're busy getting back together with him is, baby, yeah, now that you and I are back together, because clearly we need healing in Christ. And the guy's like, yeah, babe, I agree, we'll go to church on Sundays. Maybe even Bible study on Wednesday. He'll do whatever it takes to get back together with you. Now that you're groveling at his feet. Now that you are prepared to go to therapy with the man you were supposed to leave. Now that you get my point. Yeah. But you see, that's the thing. You've been fornicating all this time. It's not going to do anything for you. This entire time, you've never been saved truly. And so somebody's witchcraft to proliferate your career, to push your career. You're busy using witchcraft on the side. Protect from anything that comes around. I'm sorry. You are unstable in all of your ways, and don't expect that you weren't gonna get anything in prayer. So these are the ramifications of lukewarm Christianity. You end up married to the bugger that's gonna cause you to look at an ex-guy and be like, ran into you yesterday. Memories rush through my brain and starting to hit me. Now you're not with me. I realize I made a mistake. Ex-boyfriend up. Some dude that you dated for 2 months and you went back to a horrible ex. And now you're having an affair with him. You stumbling him, causing him to give his wife some problems. So basically, your sin begets more sin. Your wickedness begets more wickedness. Your lukewarmness begets more lukewarmness. It's bad enough you were fornicating with the man that you're married to today, prior to your marriage. But now that you're married, you're still fornicating in adultery with however some other dude. So you become twice the daughter of hell that you were initially. You just get worse and worse. That's what I'm out here getting at. There are consequences to sin. There are consequences to lukewarm Christianity. There are consequences to not being truly consecrated. I am truly consecrated to Christ, and that's why I was able to snap out of whatever my ex made say on. And then back again afterwards. He hit brick walls. All I got was a bombardment of the door to bring back lost love. I just got dreams of me being heavily pregnant with this child multiple times, literally being almost at term, with the pregnancy growing really quickly, evidencing how much this guy just wanted to so that I would end up with him. Just stay. But I would have been a miserable wife. That would have, like I told you, if I had married that guy, Mengizo cheater. There's no way I was not going to cheat. I was going to cheat because I had been wanting to get out for long. I had been wanting to get out for sebaka, but just couldn't because I was going to have an affair with somebody in these streets, likely someone from the past that I passed up in favor of him. That was inevitably going to happen. So God rescued me from myself. He rescued me from a future of adultery. He rescued me from marrying a man, Megan Vimbe. There's my ex, guys, the beginning stages of this witchcraft. I was on my period for 3 months, just non-stop bleeding. It was witchcraft to make sure I don't go out on him. And afterwards, the sex was not the same again. It burned. He was making sure namuntu. Hence why that other dude, I was with him for 2 weeks, and when I slept at his apartment, I didn't have sex with him though. The next morning, I was like, I couldn't. I told that guy, I'm sorry, this has to end, because I slept over at his apartment. That was the beginning of that kind of witchcraft. When a man does that to you, when umuntu manipulates you like that, it's just it's so pervasive. It's so intrusive. It is so incredibly intrusive. And yet they easily do stuff like this. It's so easy for them to go and control people like that to a point of causing a woman to be on her period for 3 months. Why am I bleeding for 3 months? Why am I period? Gynecologists couldn't figure out what's wrong with me. I'm just bleeding for 3 months. It eventually stopped, but that's what that witchcraft did. Hey, don't go out on me. That guy wins any guys to do that, hey? Whether it was his leso or him rubbing stuff on his manhood and then going in me and then it producing that. I don't know what he did, but there was a time when I was bleeding for 3 months. Go on my period and don't stop. Tampons 3 months, non-stop. Yo, guys, gynaes, one dude wanted to operate on me. I got a second opinion and this woman was like, no, it'll stop on its own. And indeed it did. It stopped on its own. But that was basically like the teething phases of the teething stages of this witchcraft. It was intended to make sure I don't go out on him because it caused even our sex life to be uncomfortable. From that date, it burned to have sex. I could only go 1 round, following which it was painful. He did it to himself, to us, just so I don't go out there with any other guy. Why Tembi to that point, I don't know. Just for the sake of making sure that she stays with you. That's a hostage taking situation. That is a kidnapping. That is a home invasion. That is somebody holding you against your own will. And that is somebody that you therefore are in dire need of being rescued from. And I got rescued. I got rescued eventually because I cried out to Jesus. But you all must understand what happens when you don't cry to Jesus. Exactly what happened Ngobi Tumelo. What happens when you don't cry to Christ is that you go back to him after it gets too painful. There was a time when I was in too much pain because my ex started to act like his boy Tebang. Utebang told my ex-boyfriend this story. Before my ex started acting like this, Tebang was busy explaining to him, Unguti, I got Buitumelo to come back and not yap so much and nag anymore. I can teach you some things I know of a person. All you need to do Karabo is ukumvimba this thing such that next time magakdampa phuma kuye itahambe. Next time when she tells you nkhathele uwe mtshela ukuthi hamba akufree start, if anything door slam her uzobuya. I was going to go back to my ex Kikrovola, kicking and screaming, begging. I was going to go back because even though I'm the one that dumped him, the pain was so extreme. It was so ridiculous. I couldn't deal in a way that historically I just never felt. Top of that, so I was stranded and just felt trapped by these demons to be with him only. And me feel as if though my pain cannot overcome. I can't overcome it unless he comes back into my life. Thankfully, I was interrogating the things of God at that stage. So instead of turning back to him, because I was listless, guys. That's why Nikela Koshaweng on the floor. I was listless. I could not, it's like I couldn't feel my body. I couldn't feel my face. I couldn't feel anything. I couldn't do anything. I had left a man that needed to be dumped. He was rude now. He was acting a fool. I was not flattered by anything he was doing. And yet, the pain was so extreme that after maybe 2 or 3 or 4 weeks of just writhing like that, and then asked him to meet, and then been like, baby, I'm sorry. I was unreasonable. Linda, I keep dumping you. Maybe I need to start like meeting you halfway. All the issues I raised with that bugger were valid. They were valid. And yet I was going to trivialize them. I was going to make them seem like nothing. Lankutwa. And I was going to apologize to a man that owed me an apology. The first thing he needed to apologize for was ugungimita. Like sorry. That was afraid he was supposed to apologize for lawyer, first and foremost. Because it wasn't broken, why try to fix it? And then after, apologize for all his rudeness, his unpreparedness to seven on our relationship, his sloth, all that. Maybe at that juncture then we can talk. Apologize because I can't since the feelings in my life. So let's work on this thing. First and foremost, lawyer. Secondly, on yourself, abuti. No. Nah. Kwamele mina ngiyo apologize mina. Nyo batong. Nikhohlakele madoda ashe maskis. Tshwantse nna ke lo apologize ko motho o ngloileng hore ke lo apologize ke se wrong. Ne ke le right. I was the one here that was right. Meng right. I was so rado to that guy. No khosina ntho etsuleng tseleng. But he wanted me to go mina and grovel and beg at the feet of indoda wrong. Manje if a wrong ndoda is out here expecting you to go, you apologize aguye. Guys, when is he ever gonna fix lezi into a wrong kuzo? Akazozilungisa. He's going to feel like tshwanetse jwanong. Obey no matter what. And imagine when a person gets what they want, any incentive to do differently. That is just the beginning, the powder cake beginning of destruction in terms of treatment in a relationship. You are going to take more and more nonsense. Do you understand? You are going to end up taking more and more nonsense. The moment you make concession for the small little things, that's when big indiscretions, huge harlotries are going to then now all of a sudden be taken in one's stride. So that was the beginning essentially of me shutting up about big issues. If I had not gotten born again on time, at that very opportune time, yes, like it, I was gonna see a side of that guy that I never knew. He was gonna be so bossy, so full of bullying, and he was going to feel big concerning it. He was going to feel important, like he was gonna feel like he handled me. That's what I'm getting at. I was now all of a sudden gonna be a lot more quiet, raising less and less issues. Being content being content with walking down the aisle, being content with, having the 2.5 kids and the picket fence. Kodwa utando that I experienced in the beginning of our relationship aluko. Lendo da aisabonakala ngimkhumbuli. Like I said, there's a stranger. There's a stranger in my house. It took a while to figure out. There's no way you could be who you say you are. You gotta be someone else. Cause he wouldn't touch me like that. And he wouldn't treat me like you do. He would adore me, he wouldn't ignore me, cause I'm convinced there's a stranger in my house. You will out there be married to a man that's a complete stranger, and you will think ukuthi maybe it's just time. Over time, umuntu akasa Jewish that much ngawe. Asa khabisa ka wena, asa what is this? Asa the circumstance, because sa go tlwaetse like diaparo tsa gale. He wears them now, even in Hlongwane as he's walking up and down. Uthitinga to iboga takdala, akasa Jewish ngayo. That's what I'm getting at. We go nje la around in. We apara adli na go ba kanisha boy sebedisa le yona o tshela pledge mo yona. Aba tlo phumula di kitchen counters ka yona. O diaparo tsa gale tsa pogileng. So you will think that because you an old bogat, why and heaven are you expecting him to take you to the mall with him? Why are you expecting him to have any respect for you? Why are you expecting anything different? When love is that dry, Yeah, eventually at some point, women, you snap out of it. I mean, you get to a point where you're like, okay, enough is enough. But by then, you're out here calling for a divorce. By now, you're out here separating children from their dad. By now, you're fighting for custody. By now, you get my point. Like, it's already gotten so far. But like I said, to wake up that late, why? Why kwamele siyovuka kabuhlungu njena ebusuku? Setse tickets. Hubaning. Yeah, well, the Lord calls you to arise, O sleep, away from the dead, and Christ will shine on you. The Lord calls you to wake up. Gusase gusha. Ilanga lisa riser in the sky. Lisa sentene chaba. Mikoko sentene le kunkurung kamontle kafana. We sentene dikoloi sekila bona ho senga le tsoga. Especially when you live in the kasi, how you hear the bass nje fela kamontle. Di padko. That's when you know it's morning. The smell of morning. That's when the Lord is saying, wake up. Ngaphandle waiting, blooming for people to board the bus. Bayo emsebenzini. Wake up ngaleso sikhathi ningazovuka at 6:30. Ningazovuka emqambama. Lesikatlo tsoga masihu. Lesikatlo tsoga ka matsa di AM ka 4 ka 3 ka 2 midnight. Tsogang ka le mekoko. So you will be shone on by Christ. Arise, O sleeper, wake from the dead, and Christ will shine on you. Papa Mang, wake up when you're still young. I'm trying to speak to young women, but right now I'm also speaking to older women that want to throw in the towel on waiting on Christ. Limited part, sisters. So, I mean, you are not going to out here be paying 3 times the taxi fare because you are taking transportation after hours. That's not you. You pay the price for that everybody else pays in these streets. Black women, their thing is tried and tested. That's what I'm getting at. It is tried and tested. So because it's tried and tested, if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it. Do you understand? They are not going to do any differently while you keep on feeding this beast. It's a form of operant conditioning. It's negative. It's positive reinforcement. Their behavior is reinforced positively by the fact that you reward wickedness. You reward this wickedness. You make like we do, you go back to a guy. And then when you find out ukuthi some other woman, even though you all have been together for 7 years, yonke bese uyomncenga to a point of being prepared to be stepmom, even though you were number one, you were there first. Kodwa he's impregnated some other females. You take that in your stride. In the comment section on TikTok of that video that I was watching with this woman putting biscuits and some coffee there on some ladies, say how many of y'all have got a man that brought a child into this world while married to you, or while in a relationship with you, and all these comments of these women speaking about how mine has had 5 extra kids outside of our marriage. Mine has this, mine has that. One lady's comment really got to me. She was like, listen to this. Her comment was this cheeky. Are mina mine has had indeed one of those 5 children. Kodwa ngijabulele nje kuphela indaba yokuthi yimi umfazi. I'm the one that he married. I'm the wife. Here is this chick out your content. Indaba yokuthi she's the wife. Akenandaba negonorrhea yakhona. Ne-HIV, ne-clap, ne-chlamydia. Akenandaba ne-HPV, ne-trichomoniasis. Akasibayi iskelem sa vaginal warts. She does not care about the potential for my STDs insofar as yena uphethe HIV enye eze ne-diamond ring. If you want it, you better put a ring on it. Noma iza namagama ingqulaza la ejardini. But this woman is out here taking in a stride indaba ukuthi her man has got 5 kids with 5 different other women. And all that she's happy with is Tabauri. She has given him 5 inside a marriage. And she's the only one that has multiple of these children. While all the others, kidi 1-1. Kidi perena donki. Baba banga habana di siblings. Whereas, yena onang libana banang dentatwe 1 lemwe 1 by 5. So in total by 10. Yo, that's like it. That's the thing that this female out here in these streets be commenting. Go comment section in your thing. Ichaza ke taba bana ba ya se di perena donkey. Tsenang le di have siblings all over the show. Mara ke di full. We uchazwa feel like that thing. Uchazwa ke taba hore she's the wife. Mara akunandaba that kune risk enye hard no ke HIV. Lendoda lena if you can keep making ama babies out there. Nabafazi aba different. Kushukuthi ngendaba ne-condom, ngendaba ne-protection. Lo muntu angaletha i-disease enye eyamhlaba, and the next thing everybody is taking ARVs in the marriage, putting the children therefore at risk of losing abazali bakhona. Kodwa mina ngumfazi. That's all that she's running with. Ke mosadi nna mo lifeng. Yo, le ka ba tsaya di-polygamist tse weitsikeng. Mara nna ke phulusitswe guys. Ha ke tlo rata monna to a point where, but that's the thing. They are so possessive of women that o tla ba loya kaofela ba di 5 proper leading tsa teng tse 5 di tla ba di tshwerwe ke korobela eo. That's why ba hlanya. That's why basadi keep on giving men banang le bana ba 20 bana. It doesn't make sense. If at all you've never had a child when as a woman, you've got a clean slate, clean bill of health. Kaza uzonikeza igenza kanjani abantwana umntwana omusha I'm busy la emgaqweni ana 8 different baby mamas. Why you gonna go be baby mama number 9? Ke boloi mo tsamaileng teng ha le bone. Ke mang o tlo fang Nick Cannon ngwana be 27? Atlo gets a baby mama number 2. Ke mang? Why? It so does not make sense that it evidences ukuthi imithi siya controlwa. I call sensible this thing because abafazi we inherently desire ukuthandwa. So manje indoda cannot split himself between 7 women angisho. Ngempela anithande nonke any 7. So if at all love is the main thing, core thing that you dinga as women, guys, when you settle for some okie, ozokushare nabanye abafazi by 7, abona ukuthi you are self-defeating on that day. And if you're that self-defeating, kusho ukuthi uthakathiwe sisters. Ujisithu monna ke montsale busy a fepa go robela basadi by 20, including mosadi wa teng wa monyetseng. O iphaida nkata ba go bana ba hae a se diperena donki. Tjo, guys, le ka se gone. Mara then again, I cannot taba le lona ke cause I don't taba le nna. You're treating me like trash. You're wreaking havoc in my life. You are insisting ukuthi mina I end up in your own shoes because nidlisiwe. Nithathiwe le phamotswe. Nkare ke phamoka devela ya teng. Le phamotswe, le tsayetswe. Lankutla, you've been stolen from, you've been robbed by these randos that make you grovel at their feet after making a baby. Unole number 1 ufihle maloba. My ex was so brazen that even after we broke up, wayothatha omunye umfazi ne, the woman of which that he married, make we side piece in a relationship angbor. Nantena. Do you understand what I'm saying? Wayothatha that chick, and then somewhere along the way in their marriage, ke thola ditoro of me being a mistress to him, with that woman being umfazi. Qabang.